Apart from this, some of the solids are there which directly gets converted or changes into gaseous state without changing into liquid state. This process of changing a solid into gaseous state directly without changing into liquid state and vice versa is called sublimation. The example of this, you might have seen the camphor or naphthalene balls. Camphor you might be knowing, which we know as kapoor in Hindi. When kapoor or camphor is kept for some time in open air, in a day or two, it disappears. So where does the camphor goes? Basically, this camphor or naphthalene balls directly converts into gaseous state, and this process is called or known as sublimation. Now the second is or second factor that affects the state of matter, that is pressure. First factor is temperature and the second factor is pressure. When we increase the pressure on the matter, it also changes the state, as we were doing with the syringe, with the activity with the syringe. In the third syringe we had taken air, and when we were trying to push it, we were able to push the piston of the syringe. In the same way, if we apply some more pressure on the gases, gradually the particles of gases come closer to each other, and a stage comes when there is very less space between them, as in the solid liquid state. And at this state, the gases starts changing into liquid state, and that is why before some time I had explained about the liquefied petroleum gas. Well, to convert gas into liquid form, the pressure of the gas is decreased and the pressure is increased. With these two processes, the gas, that is the butane gas, is converted into liquid form and it is filled in the cylinders and small containers. These pressure and temperature are interrelated. If we increase pressure on gas, the gas directly or gradually will change into liquid state, and when we further on increase pressure on liquids, it will directly or it will gradually change into solid state. The example for this is dry ice, that is dry carbon dioxide gas. When it is cooled down and pressure is increased on this, the carbon dioxide gas gets converted into crystals or in the form of ice, and this is known as dry ice because the carbon dioxide, which is gas, it gets directly converted into solid state without changing into liquid state, and this happens because of decrease in temperature and increasing pressure. So these pressure and temperature are interrelated, they are dependent on each other. When we increase the temperature on the particles of matter, they possess more kinetic energy and they start moving at high speed, and the pressure automatically decreases. And when we decrease the temperature, by the same way the pressure also increases. So when pressure is increased, the temperature decreases, and when pressure is decreased, temperature increases. Like this, temperature and pressure are interrelated to change the state of matter. Just now I explained that the liquid can change into gaseous state. Now, if we talk about water, the water changes into gaseous state, that is in water vapor, in two ways. The first process is evaporation and the second process is vaporization. See, there is a difference between evaporation and vaporization. Evaporation actually is the self process of changing water into gaseous state. The evaporation takes place because of the heat of the sun, blowing of the air, and the temperature of the atmosphere. What happens that the amount or the liquid which is in contact with the air, it gains it latent heat from the atmosphere, and the molecules or the particles of liquid is able to break the force of attraction between them, and they are able to change into gaseous state. But evaporation of the liquid takes place at the surface of the liquid only. But in the process of vaporization, it takes place when we heat the liquid. When the liquid is heated, it starts or it gradually changes into gaseous state. But this change of liquid into gaseous state is carried on in whole of the liquid or in bulk of the liquid. It do not take place at the surface of the liquid only. Now, there are certain factors that affects the evaporation or rate that affects the rate of evaporation. I will discuss these factors one by one. So the first factor is that affect the rate of evaporation is the increase in surface area. When the surface area of the liquid is increased, the rate of evaporation also increases, because the more liquid or much of the liquid is in contact with the air, and when much of the liquid is in contact with the air, the evaporation the rate of evaporation increases. This you can understand with the help of an example. When water is spilt on the floor, what do we do is that we wipe the floor. When we wipe the floor, we actually spread the water at a bigger area, and when it is spread at a bigger area, the more water is in contact with the air, and the rate of evaporation increases, and water evaporates very fast and the floor dries up quickly. Even if we increase the temperature of the liquid, the rate of evaporation also increases. When we increase the temperature of the liquid, the less heat energy or less latent heat it is required to change to break the force of attraction between the particles of matter, and the rate of evaporation also increases. The third factor that affect the rate of evaporation is decrease in humidity. Humidity, you might be knowing about the humidity. Humidity is basically the amount of water vapor present or available in air. Well, if the more water vapor or more number of water vapor, more amount of water vapor is available or present in air, the rate of evaporation will be very slow, because less water vapor would be able to mix up into the air. Apart from this, or opposite to this, when there is less humidity, that is less amount of water vapor in air, means the air is dry, so it can mix up more water vapor, and that is why the rate of evaporation increases, and that is why it takes large time or it takes long time for the clothes to dry up in rainy season, and in summer season the clothes dries up quickly, because in summer season there is very low humidity in the air, and in rainy season humidity is high in the air. The rate of evaporation also depends on the wind speed. Higher is the wind, greater is the rate of evaporation, or higher is the rate of evaporation. This we can understand with the help of an example also. In the winter season, when our house or floor of our house is wiped, we switch on the fan. Then what happens? Basically, the fan blows the air, and the higher is the speed of air, the more is the rate of evaporation, and that is why On a windy day, when the wind is blowing, the clothes dries up quickly, or whatever liquid is there in the air, it dries up quickly. And so wind speed also affect the rate of evaporation. Higher the wind speed, more is the rate of evaporation. Lower the wind speed, less the rate of evaporation will be slow. Now, you will be surprised to know that this evaporation causes cooling also. You might have noticed or you might have observed that the area around the water body is comparatively cool. Area around the water body such as river, water, pond, lake, the area around these things are colder. What happens that the surface of the water which is in the contact of the air, it gains the latent heat from the atmosphere or from the air, and it continuously gets changes into gaseous state. And because of this, uh, the temperature of air reduces because the temperature is sucked by the liquid to gain or to reach or attain its latent heat, and this reduces the temperature of the atmosphere, and it cools down the atmosphere or temperature of the area around the water body. This only happens with the earthen pot also. When we keep the water in the earthen pot, that is mitti ka ghada, when we keep water in the earthen pot, the earthen pot has tiny holes or tiny pores in between them. So what happens, water continuously seeps and comes at the outer surface of the earthen pot, and from there water gets evaporated. To get evaporated, the water attains or gains its latent heat from bulk of the water, that is water inside the earthen pot, and some latent heat from the atmosphere, that is from its surrounding also. And when it gains the latent heat from the water, it cools down the temperature of water and the water becomes cold. Moreover, you might also have noticed that when we take out a chilled water bottle from the fridge or the bottle of cold drink, after some time or in few seconds, the water droplets gets deposited at the outer surface of the bottle. Now, where does this water come from? Does the water seeps inside from inside the bottle? No, it's not exactly like that. See what happens when we take out the bottle of water from the fridge or freezer. The water bottle is quite cold, and the area around the bottle also comes in the contact with colder surface of the water bottle and gets cooled. When the area around the bottle of water gets cooled, the water droplets, that is water vapor which is present in air, they gets deposited at the surface of the bottle. This process of this process is called condensation. You might have heard or studied that the process of changing water vapor into liquid state by coming or by getting in contact with the colder surface is called condensation. This only happens when the water droplets or water vapor present in air comes in the contact with close cold surface of water vapor, they condenses and gets deposited at the outer surface of the bottle. Well guys, this is all about your first chapter. Here we have completed the chapter. I hope you will like the video. I know there might be some mistakes or there might be some lackings in my video. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me, and I would say, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe it. And I would also ask you to share this video so that others could also benefited from this video. Thank you and have a nice day.